All right, here we go. Welcome in. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now live here on Chat Sports. Hope everybody out there is having a fantastic Thursday, and no matter where you are or how you're tuned in, thank you so much for making Philadelphia Eagles Now part of your day. It's going to be a great show. Hasn't been a great opening day for the Philadelphia Phillies. They got out to a 5-0 lead on the Texas Rangers. Now they're down by 4 as Aaron Nola kind of let that lead evaporate. But we're talking football here. Latest Eagles news. They just made a signing. Latest Eagles rumors and some NFL draft talk as well. Thanks so much to all of you for joining us. And with that, where are you watching from? We're coming to you from the Chat Sports Studios in Dallas, Texas, where the Dallas Cowboys still have not made an NFC Championship game in 28 years. Anytime you can throw shade toward the Cowboys, you just have to. So to the OGs in the chat right now, Cool Rains, Ryan Rowe, Andrew Nathan, Elijah Stovall, Brandon Ford, Christopher King J, Giordano, Andrew Schulenberger, all in the house. Andrew's the first one to let us know where he's watching from. He is in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. King J is in Virginia. Rezith taking some time to tell us that he is a real one. Rezith, always a real one. Continue to let us know where you're tuned in from. We're going to be talking Kevin Byard and Jeffery Simmons on today's show as well as part of the latest Eagles trade rumors. NorCal from Michael. Kane Angel saying, hey, Chase, what's up, Kane? KJ Miller also in Virginia. The PC's God. Montreal, Canada. Webb City, Missouri from Andrew. Dat Boy Guap is in North Carolina. We have people watching from literally all across the globe. So speaking of Kevin Byard and Jeffery Simmons, two really good players, both with the same team, the Tennessee Titans, the same organization that Howie Roseman fleeced last year in that trade for A.J. Brown. Who would you rather trade for if you could pick one? Is it the safety in Kevin Byard, Philadelphia native, by the way, or is it the defensive tackle in Jeffery Simmons? Type JS, get your votes in. We'll start to give you some shout-outs. Brandon Ford, North Dallas, he's here with us. Gregory, Dallas. Nice, we have a couple of Dallas folks here in the house. We're working out of our Chat Sports studios in downtown Dallas. Very funny. Big Orange, Texas. Lalo. Oh my goodness. Some jokes behind the scenes here. Elite level comedy. Okay, what are the people saying here? We have Kane going Simmons, King J Simmons, John O'Malley. What's up, Big John? He's going Kevin Byard, Lalo Simmons, Chris Simmons, Michael Kevin Byard, Peter Thurman, Jeffery Simmons. If you listen to Howie Roseman talk, he has said that we build our team's defensive line cornerback on the defensive side of the football. They don't put as much value in that safety position. That's why they let C.J. Gardner-Johnson go after they offered him that deal originally. Howie Roseman did confirm that this week from the NFL owners' meetings that they had an offer, multi-year offer, for C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He did not accept. He thought he could get more money elsewhere. That's when they moved on. They brought back James Bradbury. They restructured the contract of Darius Slay, gave him an extension as well. So a good question here. This is also our poll to give you insight as to how the people are feeling here. Pick a player to trade for. 56% Jeffery Simmons. Now, if you want to join the show today, feel free. All you have to do, very simple. Use the hashtag Eagles, better yet, Super Chat to hop on board. It's myself, Producer Trizzy Chase is here as well. And speaking of the Triz God, here he is.
What's up, fam?
Trizzy Chase.
How we doing, Bird Gang? Hope
He's
you're
here.
Doing well.
Our Super Chat menu, $5. We will sniff some smelling salts because you always got to stay awake, stay woke. That's the saying these days. $10, you could spin the wheel. $20. It's baseball opening day. We will sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game. $50, I will beer bung a coffee. It is in this cup. It's ready to rock. It's cooled down a little bit. And if we get to $300 total in Super Chats today, we will pie a cowboy. Whipped cream on a plate, pie a Cowboy fan right in the face. So that is our Super Chat menu.
I think we got to give him one.
We'll give him a free wheel spin here to give you a look at what we have to offer here. So spin that damn wheel. Let's see where we land.
I also feel like we got to give him a how about them Cowboys.
Oh, freestyle rap. All right. So the Phillies are in opening day, or the Phillies are in Texas. It's called opening day. The game got off to a great start, 5-0 Phils. We said hip, hip, hooray. Aaron Nola gave up the lead and started to choke. In Aussie, they would say, he's a joke bloke.
That's bars.
Philadelphia Eagles, wheeling and dealing.
Howie Roseman
To my Eagles Now family, we're ready to start the show. How are you feeling?
And to Howie Roseman, those draft picks he be stealing.
To Howie Roseman, those draft picks he be stealing. There's our freestyle. We can do better next time. That was a freewheel spin, and we brought the bars off the dome. Grade it, A, B, C, D, or F. Let us know. All right, so that's our Super Chat menu right there. We did talk already about the signing of Kentavious Street. That video is up on the channel. Don't leave us now to go watch it, although it did get 1,000 views in 30 minutes. So we're very excited about that. But we will also talk about the signing of Kentavious Street, excuse me. I'm just taking a look at the numbers here. Yeah, 1,400 people have watched it so far. Of the last 10, it's the second best video behind Ezekiel Elliott. We actually talked about that a week ago today. So we're ready to dive into it all. Kentavious Street played with the Saints last year, 3.5 sacks, 29 total tackles, a rotational defensive tackle, who's a backup, but a pretty solid backup. He's combined the last 2 years, last year with the Saints, the year before that with the San Francisco 49ers for 6.5 sacks. So now, at defensive tackle, you're pretty set as far as your starters and your depth pieces go. None of those guys better than Jeffery Simmons, though, who we'll talk about. All right, if you're ready to start the show, I need you to help us out. I need you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We have 113 people watching live. More people will come in once they get that notification. 31 likes. Can we at least get to 50 likes before we start the show? We want to shoot for higher than that, but I'm asking for 19 more likes to start the official show. Then we'll start to talk some birds here. Free agency rumors, draft rumors, mock draft, trade rumors. We're doing it all here. Yeah. Just like that'll be the intro screen and then just go into that. Yeah. So hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. 5 likes away already. I look over at Trace, I look back, we're at 45 likes. That's why y'all are the best. 5 likes away from 50, and then we'll start the show. But of course, continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We're going to start off talking Kevin Byard trade rumors. Jeffery Simmons latest as well. We're up to 46 likes, 105 people watching. 3 likes away from 50. Continue to hit that thumbs up icon, like the video. The more people that like it, the more people that hang out, the more fun that we will have here on Eagles Now. We're past 50 likes. Continue to smash it. Keep the comment section popping. If you haven't subscribed, do so right now as we're on the road to 50,000 subscribers. We have the Phillies game on here. We'll give you updates there. We're hanging out. It's a Thursday on Eagles Now. The official show starts right now. Another loaded show coming your way on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for joining us. On the docket for today's show, could the Eagles trade for Kevin Byard, the great safety for the Tennessee Titans? Some buzz there, and we'll give you the latest on Jeffery Simmons, one of the best defensive tackles in the sport. Before we get started, though, if you like what Howie Roseman has done this offseason, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you don't like what Howie Roseman has done, I want you to comment why. Now, today's show is sponsored by Athletic Greens. This is a supplement that I take every single day, and it sets the foundation for the rest of my day. And there are a couple of benefits if you take AG1, and I highly suggest that you do if you want to prioritize your health in a very cost-effective way. If you're looking for improved gut health, a stronger immune system, sustained energy levels, 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, and whole food source nutrients, as well as a year's supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs, utilize that link down below. We'll get you hooked up. It's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. Now, I took AG1 and I started to give it the try because I really wanted to prioritize my health in a couple of different ways. I'm training a lot. I just completed a 300 straight day running streak. And since my mom passed away from cancer, I've really tried to steer clear of a lot of harsh chemicals and ingredients out there because I do believe that does lead to some cancer for some people. And with AG1, it's boosted my energy. It's made me feel really good. I just mix 1 small scoop of AG1 with water. I drink it first thing each morning, or you can do it before and after your workouts for a faster recovery or some boosted energy. So if a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, Athletic Greens is giving you, the Bird Gang, a free 1-year supply of vitamin D, 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. So head to athleticgreens.com/chatsports. That's athleticgreens.com/chatsports. We'll put that link in the comments section as well as in the description of this video. To the latest on Kevin Byard, who, if you're sleeping on him, I don't understand it. This guy's a fantastic safety, according to reports, could either be a cap casualty for Tennessee or could be a trade candidate for Tennessee. New general manager Rand Carthen is really taking control of that roster, the former director of pro personnel for the San Francisco 49ers, and he's really looking to shape that roster with how he envisions it being. He wants his fingertips all across this team, and it's easy to see why when he's overtaking a franchise and wants this to be the official start of his new regime. And so far, he's made a lot of moves. Tennessee has made a lot of transactions to clear up some money, letting go of some players, and maybe they could trade some players in the future, including Kevin Byard as well as Jeffery Simmons, who we'll get to on today's show as well. Just because the Philadelphia Eagles signed Terrell Edmunds does not mean that Howie Roseman will not add to the safety position by trading for Kevin Byard. And Pro Football Focus has linked the Eagles to the star-studded safety who's currently playing in Nashville. Byard may be a casualty of a rebuild that the Tennessee Titans seem very close to pulling the trigger on. He has been one of the best safeties in the NFL since he came into the league and is particularly adept in coverage. With a significant contract, he may not have a red-hot market, but if a deal can be done to minimize his cap hit to a new team, like Philadelphia, Byard would transform a secondary in an instant. He is still on the right side of 30 years old, though this will be the last offseason where that is true. And Pro Football Focus said among the teams that could show interest in Kevin Byard, either in the trade market or if he's cut loose in free agency, it's the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, with that contract and the Birds, there would have to be a contract restructure of some sort. In 2023, has a base salary of $13.6 million and a large cap hit of $19.5 million. In 2024, $13.5 million base, the same as in 2023. The cap hit does go down by just shy of $2 million. In 2025 and 2026, there are void years. There's a possibility he could become a free agent in 2025 when he is 32 years old. Now, if a Kevin Byard signing happens, we're going to talk about it. Now, I'm going to Key West next Friday. If I'm there and the Eagles make a big move, I'm still going to hop on the mic and talk about it because I'm addicted to the grind. I'm addicted to talking Eagles. And don't you want somebody who's going to give you videos no matter where I am, Chat Sports Studios, at the crib, or in Key West, going to be hanging out with the homies. Shout out to the Rudisils in Westchester, the hometown. So whenever the Eagles make a move, we cover it. That's why you subscribe as we approach 50,000 subscribers. Kevin Byard's Pro Football Focus grades last year. Overall, 79.5. Very, very good. Run defense grade of 78. He's at his best in coverage, though. This is a safety who can drop back, and you don't really have a lot of question marks on that back end because he's really good against any aerial attack. You look at what he's done over his last 4 years, been in the league for a little while. This is really when he started to come into his own. 2022, 108 tackles. Very good tackler, too, by the way. 6 pass breakups, 4 interceptions, 0 tackles for loss. That doesn't matter. Now, Terrell Edmunds is more of a box safety. Kevin Byard is a deep wide type of safety. In 2021, 17 games played, 88 tackles, 13 pass breakups is a great number. 5 interceptions in 2020, north of 100 tackles once again, 7 pass breakups and a pick. And in 2019, 84 tackles, 9 pass breakups, and 5 interceptions. You look at the games played here, pretty interesting stat here as part of our chat stats. The Philadelphia native, who then moved to Georgia after I believe his parents separated, has never missed a game in 7 seasons. He has tallied a total of 114 games in those 7 campaigns to go along with 105 starts. So not only is he a consistent player, he's consistently available for his team as well. This is why the Philadelphia Eagles probably won't do it. Now, a lot of you in the comment section, you're probably just haters saying, this is clickbait, it'll never happen. I'm saying it's probably not going to happen, but when Pro Football Focus links a player of this ilk to the Philadelphia Eagles, we're going to talk about it. We do shows every single day, homie. So why the Eagles probably won't do it, Byard is really expensive. You could restructure that contract, yes. And Howie Roseman did say this week as well, though, that they value defensive line as well as cornerbacks first, and then the other positions on a defense. With that, today's big poll question. You tell me down in the comment section, should the Eagles trade for Kevin Byard? Y for yes, N for no. Embrace debate and let us know. As for Howie Roseman's team-building philosophy on the defensive side of the football, here it is. For us, he said this from the NFL owners' meetings, it's going to start on defense with the defensive line and the cornerback position. When we look back at what we did here, it was consistent with what we think. So what's Howie Roseman saying there? Obviously, he likes defensive linemen. He likes corners. He believes that those are the pillars of your defense. And since he loves the defensive line, you cannot rule out a Jeffery Simmons trade, even if the Eagles sign Kentavious Street. Now, you can make the argument here as well that if the Eagles find a way to bring in Simmons, and I would think about trading number 10 overall away for him, because I don't think you get a player better than Jeffery Simmons at number 10, that he is a better player than Javon Hargrave. Hargrave had the luxury of playing on this Eagles defense last year that ranked number 10 in basically every relevant defensive statistic. Jeffery Simmons did not, yet the production was just as good, if not better. You look at how these two players compare. Another reason why I love Simmons, he's a lot younger than Hargrave, who just signed that 4-year, $84 million deal on the first day of free agency with San Francisco. Hargrave's 30. Jeffery Simmons is only 25. Sack numbers with Hargrave, yeah, he has the edge there. 11 in 2022, Simmons had 7.5. With pressures, Hargrave has the slight edge. How about the Pro Football Focus grades, though? Overall PFF grade, it's Simmons who PFF thinks is the better player, 81.1. Hargrave checking in at 78.2. The grade against the rush, run defense, a little bit of a difference there. And then Pro Football Focus pass rush grade, Hargrave at 90.8, Jeffery Simmons at 73. So Hargrave gets the edge there. But against the run is what I meant to say. Jeffery Simmons, by far and away the better player by about 30 statistical points over Hargrave, 79.3 to Hargrave's 48.2. So basically to summarize that, as Pro Football Focus takes a look at every single snap that is played, is that I believe Jeffery Simmons is the better all-around player than Javon Hargrave. He's just as good against the pass, on that pass rush. He's a better player against the rush, and he's more of that old-school defensive tackle, whereas Javon Hargrave is the new-school defensive tackle who's a pass rush specialist. Let's also pose this question amid this argument, right? Do you get a better player at number 10 overall than Jeffery Simmons? Jalen Carter, maybe, but is he a better player right now for a team that has a Super Bowl-ready roster in the immediacy of the moment? Yeah, probably not. But the advantage of drafting a player at number 10 is that they will probably be cheaper, but under this caveat, if they work out. So pick a defensive tackle. Who is the better player between Jeffery Simmons and Javon Hargrave? JS for the Titan, JH for the now Niner and former Eagle. Share your thoughts with us. Good stuff right there. All right, who you got? Pick a defensive tackle, Jeffery Simmons or Javon Hargrave. Andrew's going Simmons. Cool Rains is going Simmons. Callie Green Simmons. Jay Baked Simmons. P. Simmons. Ryan Rowe Simmons. Kane Angel Simmons. Andrew Nathan Simmons. Not a vote for Hargrave yet. Here they're coming in. Antonio Holmes. What's up, my guy? Appreciate you always being in the comment section, man. Always like reading your comments. Type in JH. William Treadway, JH. Dumbo going JH for Hargrave. Cha, Jeffery Simmons. Peter Thurman, Jeffery Simmons. All right, I see y'all. If you want to join the show, we have another segment to get to, and then also we could talk Kentavious Street as well, the new Eagles acquisition at defensive tackle. Hop on board. Join the show. Let's chop it up. Use the hashtag Eagles, better yet, Super Chat. We'll get your questions featured on the show here. Hashtag Eagles or Super Chat. And speaking of Super Chats, we have a great Super Chat menu here today. No Super Chats have come in. If you want to be the first, pop that cherry right now. 161 people watching live, 70 likes. Make sure you continue to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We should be able to get to 100 likes ASAP to make this a bigger Eagles Now party. Here's our Super Chat menu. I was sick a couple of days ago, so I'm not going to go crazy drinking today. I'm just trying to prioritize my health here, thanks to Athletic Greens. $5 Super Chat, smelling salts. $10 Super Chat, we're going to spin the wheel. $20, it's baseball opening day. I'm watching the Phils game here. It's 9-5 Rangers as the Phils blew a 5-0 lead thanks to Aaron Nola. We'll sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game, 9-6 rather. $50 Super Chat, a coffee, beer bong, and or a Freedom Funnel from Trace. And if we get to $300 in total Super Chats, we will pie a cowboy. Whipped cream on a plate, stuff it in the face of a guy wearing a cowboy hat. How about them Cowboys? So that is our Super Chat menu right there. We're at 72 likes, shooting for 100 right now. Giving shout-outs to all of you in the comment section. P, I love the show. We love you. Callie Green, Hargrave had a rotation with them. Eric Camper, going Jeffrey Simmons. O'Malley, Jeffrey Simmons. Antonio, LOL, pop that cherry. That's a saying. Let's do it after this. Yeah. By the way, all we need is $20 in Super Chats, and we'll talk about Kentavious Street. $20 combined in Super Chats, we'll talk about Kentavious Street. First, though, we're going to look, interestingly enough, at ESPN's full 7-round Eagles mock draft from Jordan Reed. That's coming up next on the show. 160 people watching live, 72 likes. Who hasn't liked the video? If you haven't, that means that you're not a real one. And if you're not a real one, you want to be a real one, right? So before we talk some draft targets here, taking a look at this ESPN mock draft, let me take a sip of water. Trey said it best. I'm not saying you're a fraud, but you're not cool if you haven't liked the video. Don't you want to be cool? Like the video.
You know, I heard that all of the people who aren't liking the video actually are closet Cowboys fans, which is just unacceptable.
We don't want that.
Oh,
Brian
and you
Brick.
like the Astros.
Frauds. I hate the Astros. Brian Brick, go Phillies. My man. 9-6 right now. Connor Brogdon on the bump. 2 outs. Man on first for the Rangers. Phillies were up 5-0. Alec Boehm. He went yard. Trey Turner. Brandon Marsh had triples. Oh, look at this guy. He's a Cowboys fan and a Rangers fan.
Let's go, Rangers.
And he's a Texas fan. How'd that work out in the Elite Eight?
Yeah, enjoy Bijan.
That's good stuff, man. Larry Dickman in Wyoming. Nice. I want to visit Wyoming. Coop, you're not wearing your True Brand hat today. You're not wearing the upside-down Dallas hat today?
I can bring it next time for the
Damn. That's a fresh hat.
Hey, watch out. There's a table there.
Yeah, there's a table right there.
We got it.
Super chat menu here. $5 smelling salts, $10 will spin the wheel, $20 take me out to the ball game. We'll do our Will Scott and sing. $50 coffee bong or a funnel. $300 total. We'll pie a cowboy. Whipped cream on a plate. Smash their face. In the meantime, let's do some Eagles draft talk here. It's Philadelphia Eagles now. Let's get it popping. Coming up on today's Philadelphia Eagles now, I'm going to react to ESPN's 7-round Philadelphia Eagles mock draft from their draft expert, Jordan Reed. And we first take a look at all of the Eagles picks in the 2023 NFL draft. They're locked and loaded. This is Howie Roseman with some really good selections here. 2 picks in the first round, 10th overall, 30th overall, a second-round pick at number 62, round 3, 94th overall, and then a big gap there from round 3 all the way until round 7. I'm cool with that. Ideally, you'd have a 4th, 5th, 6th-round pick because you can find some really good players with those picks. But look, you have 2 first-rounders, a second-rounder, and a third-rounder. You can get some premium talent there, and then you round out with those 2 seventh-rounders, 219 overall, and then 248th. With that, today's poll question is this. This is going to be our pinned comment. So if you get hit with that YouTube ad break, use it to your advantage. We want to hear from you. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. Who is your favorite Eagles draft target? I'm talking one player that you absolutely love. Let us know down below right now. Without further ado, the ESPN full 7-round mock draft. Jordan Reed has Nolan Smith heading to the Birds at number 10 overall. He did take an official visit to Philadelphia in the pre-draft process. It's obviously pretty telling because that means that the Eagles have interest, and Nolan Smith is probably happy about the idea as well. A freakish athlete who really did a great job at the NFL Scouting Combine. Coming out of high school, a recruit who everybody was salivating over, and his college career didn't really live up to those lofty expectations. Some concerns here, ran into some injury issues, but my goodness, when you watch this guy move, short burst on the 10-yard shuttle, on the 40-yard dash, his overall strength, he has special ability playing in a Georgia defense that obviously has a lot of pro concepts. In 2021, 53 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles to go along with 1 interception. And then in 2022, he went from 12 games played in 2021 to only 8 this past year for the national champion Georgia Bulldogs. Only 18 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3 sacks. So the production there, on top of the injuries, a little bit of a concern. But can the Eagles pass up on a guy who is really making it happen from Indianapolis at the Scouting Combine? It's going to be tough. And he could go number 10. He could go earlier if teams fall in love with the athletic physical profile because this guy is freaky. Jordan Reed on Smith to Philly saying this, Philadelphia general manager Howie Roseman has been strategic with how he attacks positions in round 1, anticipating roster needs sometimes a year or 2 in advance. He has poured resources into the defensive line to supplement the veterans on the roster. Drafting Smith would be another strategic move, as he is similar to a player the Eagles have already in Hassan Reddick. Smith is an explosive outside linebacker who can rush standing up or with his hands in the ground. He would be an addition that fits the mold of what the organization covets. So a player who has some versatility. Stand-up edge rusher, outside linebacker, or a guy who could put his hand in the dirt as well. At number 30, this is a player who we've talked about a lot here on the show, but like Nolan Smith, injury issues as well as production issues. Now, earlier in the draft cycle, leading up to the NFL draft in late April, final Thursday, by the way, we'll be going live for it night 1 on Eagles Now. A lot of mocks had Brian Breesy going to the Birds at number 10. But because of some concerns with him and an all too average showing at the Scouting Combine, a lot of mock drafts have him going later in the first round. You look at his stats, in 10 games played in 2022 for Clemson, 15 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, and 2 pass breakups. A pretty good athlete at defensive tackle, which is what Jordan Reed kind of said in his profile here. I gave the Eagles outside linebacker Nolan Smith at number 10, and I'm sticking with the front 7 here. Breesy suits the versatility of the Eagles scheme. He has played every position along the line, but projects best as a 3-technique defensive tackle. His agility and quickness make him capable of playing off the edge in a late-down situation, which is what he did frequently in college, although Breesy must be more consistent. It will help him go to a team with a veteran defense, which Philadelphia has. He has the potential to be a mainstay next to 2022 first-rounder in Jordan Davis. My concerns here, the lack of production, some of the injuries that he's suffered. He's really been injured every year of his college career at Clemson. And then lastly, it's the inconsistency. But that athleticism at defensive tackle is certainly an attractive trait. So 2 picks down here for Jordan Reed, a lot more left to get to. Greatest first 2 picks, A, B, C, D, or F. Share your thoughts down in the comment section. Get those pens out. Now we go to pick number 62. This is a pick that I would really like. Why is that? Well, I've been saying all offseason I think the Eagles need an upgrade from Quez Watkins at wide receiver 3, who the analytics show had one of the worst drop rates when open in the NFL. Marvin Mims out of Oklahoma to the Eagles at 62. This guy in 2022 was an awesome player. A little bit slighter, but that's fine because you already have A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. With the Sooners this past year, 54 catches, more than 1,000 yards, average yards per catch, 20.1 and 6 touchdowns. And his overall production in Norman, Sky tore it up. He played a lot, and with that came a lot of production. 37 games played throughout his collegiate career, 123 catches for almost 2,400 yards, 19.5 yards per catch. So a big play threat who's very quick and speedy, 20 touchdowns as well. Jordan Reed on Mims to Philadelphia. The Eagles' underrated need, depth at wide receiver. He must watch the show. It's a top-heavy group with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but they don't have much after those two. Mims, who averaged more than 20 yards per catch over the last 2 years, could compete with Quez Watkins for the wide receiver 3 spot, creating an intriguing battle for the vertical threat spot. And I think that Marvin Mims is just the better player than Quez Watkins. I trust his hands a little bit more. He has really good speed like Quez Watkins, but if you can trust him to utilize that speed a little bit more, that's why I like the player. I would love this pick for Philadelphia. He would be a Quez upgrade. Before we continue to move forward, make sure you subscribe to us here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. For those of you watching on our NFL Draft channel on Chat Sports, if you're an Eagles fan, we do shows every single day on Eagles Now. We've been doing draft content for months. We're going to continue to rock it up until draft time. And once the draft comes around, we're, of course, going to continue to crush. Now let's go to 94th overall, another player who I really like. I covered Penn State when I used to work for WNEP in Scranton, Pennsylvania. If you're watching from the 570, type 570 in the comments. Jair Brown. The Eagles need to start developing another safety on a rookie contract who can play behind Terrell Edmonds, who's on a 1-year deal, and Reed Blankenship, another young player. We'll see what else the Eagles do at that safety spot. When I watched Penn State this past year, and when I went back and watched some of the tape on Jair Brown, this guy's everywhere. He can play in the box, and I trust him on the back end as well. You look at his numbers from this past year, which resulted in Penn State winning in the Rose Bowl over Utah. A very good performance. Good win for James Franklin. Good way for Sean Clifford to go out. 74 tackles. 7 tackles for loss, 4.5 sacks. That goes to show you that you can use him in a very versatile way. Box safety, safety on the back end, 4 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles. It seemed as though when Penn State needed a big play defensively, Jair Brown came through, especially against Wisconsin, had a couple of really good moments. Here's what Jordan Reed had to say about Jair Brown. Even after signing Terrell Edmonds, the Eagles need to add another safety to make up for the losses of C.J. Gardner-Johnson as well as Marcus Epps. Brown is a versatile defender who will play primarily as a free safety. Finished last year with the Nittany Lions, 56 total tackles and 4 picks. The real ones know, and we'll take this, use this as an opportunity to do a real one roll call. The real ones know that Jair Brown is a straight-up stud. And if you get him at this point of the draft, awesome, awesome value for Philadelphia, for an organization that really does value. Pick number 219 in the 6th round, Muhammad Ibrahim. Now, if you remember, 2 years ago when he was playing for Minnesota, the leading rusher in college football. Then he popped his Achilles. That's why he's probably going to go down draft boards a little bit. In 2022, though, came off that injury, still was really, really productive and utilized a lot under P.J. Fleck. 320 carries, 1,665 yards, 20 touchdowns, and still has that vertical speed, a long of 54. As for Jeremy Banks, this is a player. I was talking to Matthew Peterson, sits next to me here at Chat Sports, linebacker. He went to Tennessee, did Petey. He said, Jeremy Banks, very emotional player. He does have some character concerns. Used to be a running back, now plays linebacker. I like taking chances on players this late in the draft. You have nothing to lose. Not a lot of guaranteed money there. You're not going to have to pay them all that much money. And if the pick works out, it only works to your advantage because you're paying them very small amounts of money over the course of that rookie contract. He was a running back turned linebacker. So that goes to show you that this guy is a very, very good athlete at 6'1", 224. He's going to have that speed as well. Going to have to bulk up that frame if he wants to play linebacker at the NFL level. Some character concerns, as I said. He's certainly an emotional cat who would make some big plays, but also have some down moments. And because of those character concerns, could be a D3 guy. So that is the end of our draft video here on Philadelphia Eagles Now and on our NFL Draft channel by Chat Sports. Give the comment section the D by typing D for the draft down below. We're in full draft mode here at Chat Sports. Cannot wait for it, and keep it locked for the best draft coverage that the entire YouTube universe has to offer. All right, awesome show so far. We're up to 200 people watching live, 12 likes away from 100. Make sure you hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. We had a super chat come in from Sydney family. $8 in Australian currency. That's $5.37 in American currency. Trace, we know what to do. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Sydney family, we always like to cheer on our Aussie folks because my dad grew up in Melbourne. Does Howie trade down if no Bijan and get an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman in the first? Look, if Howie Roseman goes offensive line, defensive line in the first round, it's not going to shock me at all, right? Because that's how the Eagles prioritize building out their rosters. They go inside out, and they prioritize those positions of importance, right? If he trades back, that's not going to surprise me either. Trade back is in play. Offensive lineman, defensive line is in play. It's just interesting, right? At the start of the offseason after the Super Bowl loss, you're thinking, okay, they're definitely going to go corner at either number 10 or at number 30. Are they going to go corner now in the first round? I don't think so. I mean, you brought back Darius Slay. You brought back James Bradbury. You signed Greedy Williams. You have Avonte Maddox. They like Zach McPherson. So I don't think they're going to go corner any longer in the first round. And then are they going to go offensive tackle, which I thought sneakily they could have done. They brought in Paris Johnson for a visit, but then they signed Lane Johnson to that extension through 2026. You have Jordan Mailata. Right guard is a possibility there with Peter Skoronski, who everybody thinks might be the best offensive lineman in this draft. If they go best player available, BPA, they might go Skoronski at number 10. I think that they would really like that selection there. Lucas Van Ness, I think, is a player at edge rusher. Depending on how the board falls at edge rusher, if there's a really good edge there at number 10, I think they definitely go that route. Super chat menu, here it is. $5, we'll do some smelling salts. $10, we'll spin the wheel. $20, take me out to the ball game. It's baseball opening day. We had the Phillies on here. $50, a coffee bong or funnel. And if we get to $300 in total super chats, which probably isn't going to happen right now because it's been somewhat of a lighter show, we will pie a Cowboy fan, unless you're a real one and you're a big baller and you send in a big super chat. Let's see. If we get to... We're at $5 in super chats. If you want to know more about Kentavious Street, the new Eagles signing, we will talk about him here if we get some more super chats in. We already put the video out on the channel. It's up there. It's flourishing. It's taken off. It's hit the YouTube stratosphere. I'm looking at it right now. Kentavious Street. 2,400 views in an hour. It's pretty damn good. We'll talk more about Kentavious Street, though, if you send in a super chat. So let us know. Jonathan Harvey, he's in the chat. Ayo is in the chat. Antonio Holmes, he doesn't want Lucas Van Ness. I hear you. Somewhat of an average athlete. DBK, given the comment section the D for draft mode. We hear you. Do you want to hear more about Kentavious Street?
We know you do.
Send in a super chat. We'll break it down.
We know you do.
Fully in depth. Larry Dickman, Epps was garbage anyway. Anyone would be an upgrade? I disagree. I don't think Marcus Epps was garbage. I thought he was pretty good. Very serviceable safety. That's a big reason why he got $6 million per year. Brian Brick!
Brian!
99 cents. With that, we'll give you the latest. We'll talk about Kentavious Street. Brian Brick with the super sticker. If you want to send in a super chat, we will answer those after we talk about Kentavious Street. And if you want to keep us live, you see it right here. Send in a super chat. Send me a Venmo. Let's talk Kentavious Street to the Philadelphia Eagles, the defensive tackle on his way from New Orleans to the Birds. Howie Roseman continues to make moves in NFL free agency as the Philadelphia Eagles have signed rotational backup defensive tackle Kentavious Street, according to reports. You're watching Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Appreciate all of you for being with us. Let's talk about it. So Adam Schefter breaking the news just moments ago here on this wonderful Thursday that the Eagles signing former Saints defensive tackle Kentavious Street, racked up not 6 sacks last year. Adam Schefter wishes that he used that edit button. 3.5 sacks last year for the New Orleans Saints on the 518 snaps that he played. He now joins safety Justin Evans as the second free agent this offseason to go from New Orleans to Philadelphia. And when I saw the news of this signing, I'm like, okay, Howie Roseman really filling out the depth along that defensive line, specifically at defensive tackle. And right now you're looking at this Eagles defensive line, and in that defensive tackle room that I think is in a pretty good position heading into 2023. Jordan Davis, Fletcher Cox, Milton Williams, Kentavious Street. It looks as though that's at least 4 defensive tackles. Now, obviously, Philadelphia could address that position in the NFL draft, and if a Jalen Carter, if a good player at defensive tackle falls to the Eagles on the board at number 10, at number 30, the signing of Kentavious Street is not going to keep them from drafting one of those players. I'm not even going to say he's an assurance, right, to make the 53-man roster, not a guarantee to make the final 53, but a backup who can play, who's a little bit undersized at 6'2", 287, but because he is a little bit undersized, does have that speed to beat some of those slower centers and guards on the interior of the opposing offensive line. So with that, we're talking about the Eagles' defensive line here, and I broke down the players at defensive tackle. And of course, this is an Eagles defensive line that led the NFL in sacks last year with 70 of them, led by Hassan Reddick, Brandon Graham, Josh Sweat. They're all back in the fold. So grade the Eagles' defensive line in the trenches, A, B, C, D, or F. We want to hear from you down in the comment section. And if you want to hit me up on Twitter, feel free to do so at Chase_Senior, by the way. I'm also on Instagram at Chase_Senior as well. Let's continue to talk about this Street signing as he makes his way to Broad Street. You see what I did there? 29 tackles last year with New Orleans as he signed that one-year deal after a couple of years with the San Francisco 49ers. 5 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 0 forced fumbles. As you can see on the picture here, a little bit of a slighter defensive tackle as I was just talking about. Smaller in frame, but I do like his speed, and I like that quick first step. And this really does go in line with a lot of the moves that Howie Roseman has made throughout this offseason. He's signed a lot of players to these one-year deals who are either coming off a down year, haven't lived up to expectations, or are looking to go somewhere where they can thrive, where they can flourish to maybe up their value a little bit so that they go to Philadelphia, play on this good defense, and maybe they produce really good numbers, and then next year in free agency, they can make some more money. And in the meantime, they join a team that just won the NFC. They have another opportunity to compete and win a Super Bowl. It's a winning environment with the culture that a lot of players, both former and current, are raving about, led by Coach Nick Sirianni. And in a defense with Sean Desai, that always has pretty good sack numbers, whether he's a defensive coordinator the 1 year when he was with the Chicago Bears, they were top 5 in sack production, or when Sean Desai has been an assistant. Those defensive lines have been pretty good as well because Sean Desai is a Vic Fangio disciple. You look at what Street has done since being a 4th-round pick out of NC State in 2019 by the Niners, only 3 games played in his rookie year. But then with San Francisco, really good defenses too, turned himself into a very good backup rotational defensive tackle. 2020, no sacks, but in 2021, 3 sacks. That's why he got that deal with New Orleans. Great defense with San Francisco in 2021, one of the top defenses in the National Football League. And then last year, I understand that New Orleans in the win column wasn't great. They didn't make the playoffs, but that defense led by Dennis Allen was a pretty solid unit. He tacked on 3.5 sacks. And if you can get that amount of sacks on a short one-year deal worth little money for a rotational backup defensive tackle, pretty good bang for your buck, and it falls in line with what Howie Roseman looks for with some of these signings. Now, this is why you subscribe to us here on Eagles Now, because when breaking news happens, we go in depth on these signings. We break it down faster and better than anybody else, so subscribe and lock us in. We appreciate your support. Eagles defensive line, it's looking like this as of right now. You have Josh Sweat, Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis, Brandon Graham as your starting defensive lineman. That's your front four, but also keep in mind that Sean Desai will run a multiple scheme. Sometimes these will be the 4 men up front. Sometimes Hassan Reddick will come up. Sometimes you get 5 in the box with these 4 and Hassan Reddick. Multiple scheme in which Sean Desai, I imagine, is going to trot out multiple looks, but I'm starting to really like the depth along this defensive line. And after you lost Javon Hargrave, that's where you had some questions about what the defensive tackle room was going to look like, what this overall defensive line was going to look like, and how they would evolve after losing the 11 sacks from Javon Hargrave. But Josh Sweat had 11 last year. Fletcher Cox had 7. Brandon Graham had 11. You had Hassan Reddick, who had 16.5 in the regular season, and then combined in the regular season and in the playoffs, he had 19.5 sacks. But you're starting to fill out this depth as well, and that's going into the NFL draft, where I imagine Philadelphia going to address how they build their teams, inside out, defensive line, offensive line, and then they go to the other positions outside of that. Derek Barnett's going to come back off that torn ACL. You have Milton Williams, who I really like. He showed flashes to me last year. Kentavious Street now in the fold. You have Tipu Luto, who was also pretty good last year as well, as I always find a way to butcher his name. Then Janarius Robinson, too, who is also in the fold at defensive end. So for Sean Desai, a lot of pieces to work with up front here. And to really round things out, good depth signing for Philadelphia in bringing in Kentavious Street. He is a solid rotational player. He's certainly shown that over his last 3 years after really not playing much in his rookie year. Has he lived up to the expectations of being a 4th-round pick out of NC State? Yeah, maybe not. But at this point, he is what he is. And for Philadelphia to get him short-term, little money, even if you cut him and he doesn't make the 53, it really doesn't matter. He's played in 2 quality defenses, and now this will be a 3rd. Philadelphia was top 10 in basically every major defensive category last year when it came down to defenses among all 32 teams. And he takes that experience from San Francisco, the principles of that defense with D'Amico Ryans, and before that, Robert Saleh. Then last year, Dennis Allen. So we're talking D'Amico, Dennis Allen, 2 good defensive minds. And now you have the Vic Fangio, Sean Desai type of tree, being able to tutor him and teach him. And this is an Eagles organization that has always prioritized defensive linemen, but also has developed that position very well as well. And can you tap into that potential of him being that 4th-round pick out of NC State in 2018? The Eagles have had some luck with using smaller players on the interior. Shoot, Brandon Graham had probably the most notable play in franchise history against Tom Brady in Super Bowl 52, not as an edge rusher. That was Chris Long who was on that edge. It was actually Brandon Graham on the interior who was able to force that fumble of Tom Brady, which was really the turning point in that Super Bowl, and lock down a dub for the Birds to bring back that Lombardi trophy. So if you like what Howie Roseman has done, I want you to hit that thumbs up icon and like the video. If you don't, throughout this offseason, I want you to comment why. This is Philadelphia Eagles Now by Chat Sports. Appreciate all of you for joining us, and we'll catch you next time here on the show. And if you're watching right now on Thursday, we might be live, so come hang out with us. So there you go. Kentavious Street, the newest acquisition by Howie Roseman in NFL free agency. Pretty solid last 2 years. I mean, 6.5 sacks as a rotational defensive player over the last 2 campaigns. Pretty solid. While we're doing that segment, Brandon Ford, $2 super chat, working in this Eagles man cave for draft night. What's the Eagles man cave look like? Let me and Trizzy know. We're trying to see that man cave.
Brandon, if you tweet a video at Chase_Senior, we can show everyone.
Yeah, or just message me on Instagram what it looks like, man. We'll show some pictures, if not on this live show, another one for sure. I used to have a man cave at my crib in Westchester. It was absolutely elite. I mean, I was collecting so much Eagles memorabilia, and I would put it in this like little crawl space that I turned into a man cave. I'm really pissed that I never took pictures of it because we didn't have like picture phones at that time, but we had the memories. I know. That's true. It was, dude, it was dope. So Brandon Ford with the 2. Last call for super chats here. If you want us to stay live, we'll stay live. Jeremy said, you won't. 2-minute super chat shot clock. Yes, they are. Although they're making us look like frauds today. 2-minute super chat shot clock. If you want us to stay alive, send in a super chat. If you don't send in a super chat within 2 minutes, we out. We out. And if you're just joining us, we just talked Kentavious Street. That video of us talking about him up on the channel as well, so you can go back and watch it. Sydney family. Losing faith in my boy Chase. Why are you saying that? The mommy? Why are you losing faith in me? Why have you ever lost faith in me? Let me know. Losing faith in my boy Chase. Why is that?
Or is it losing faith, comma, my boy Chase, and then he's like sad? Read the chat.
Read the chat. All right, let's see. What's the mommy say?
Talking about when one doesn't want to recognize their homie from Westchester, then why would one stick around?
Wait, where was this?
Scroll up. Over AO, Cali Green. It's right after
okay.
Brentford.
When one doesn't want to recognize their fellow homie from Westchester, then why would one stick around? Bro, I didn't see that. We were talking Kentavious Street, my man. Shout out to you.
Hey, we got to talk ball at some point.
Mommy. The mommy. The mommy. We appreciate you. To all my Westchester homies, the 6'10", the 4'84", I love you. That'll never change. Ayo!
Ayo! Ayo! Ayo!
Is that a Penn State helmet?
Woo!
We were talking about Jair Brown a little bit earlier. Eagles need the draft number 5. Helps the offense, gives us room for the future. Gainwell's the only back over the next couple of years, and Dallas wants Bijan Robinson. So we need him first. Draft 5. He's talking Bijan Robinson at 5 overall. Look, I've talked a lot about Bijan Robinson. I'm a huge fan of his. I'm not an advocate for taking running backs in the first round unless it's a transcendent player, unless this dude is generational, and I believe that he could be. I look at Christian McCaffrey not as a running back. I look at him as a weapon. I look at Bijan Robinson not as a running back, but as a weapon. And that's what Bijan is. I would take him at number 10. I really would. I really would. So because Ayo sent in a $10 super chat, you know what we're doing? Spin that wheel.
Spin, 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 spin. All right.
What do we got, Trace?
Some push-ups, my guy. Hold on, I'll turn the camera
10
around.
10 push-ups? All right.
I'll turn the camera around so they can see. All right, I'm ready whenever you are.
You ready for me?
Let's do it. All right, help me count them out, guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You know what's funny is 2 weeks ago, I think it was, I bruised my sternum bench pressing. It's the first time
jacked.
It's the first time I've done push-ups in a couple of weeks.
How'd that feel?
Not great. Not great.
That shit hurted.
I was in shambles over the weekend, right?
Yeah.
So I had the chest and back injury from the bench press, but I was also sick. I think I had like the flu, bronchitis. I don't know. I do a good job of taking care of myself, load myself with vitamins. I eat well. So I wasn't like knocked down for the count, but I was like coughing up mucus,
Phlegm.
and it was disgusting.
Yeah.
We laugh a lot here at Chat Sports, and I feel bad for the coworkers who I've been around the last couple of days because we've laughed a lot. and I've sounded like I've had like a 80-year-old smoker's lung.
Oh, it's been bad.
It's been bad.
It's been bad.
It's been bad.
It's coughing up a kidney.
It's not good. I'll do 50 push-ups with you. Luffy, do it for me. I've had to do a lot of resistance band stuff because I can't really put a lot of pressure on my chest. It kind of sucks. Cindy family, Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Oi, oi, oi. Carl Brooks thoughts. Yeah, I have a scouting profile here. Two-time captain with 48 career starts, explosive production in major categories. First step quickness sets the tone. Sets up rush moves with angles and hand usage. Possesses plus burst to close in short spaces. Weaknesses: shorter arms with smaller hands. I don't really care about the hands part. Could struggle shedding blocks quickly enough. Gets pads turned through contact. Day 3, though, I mean, this is a guy who can play. Had some pretty good production at Bowling Green. 6'3", 303. So he has that size. He's bigger than Kentavious Street, who's like 280, 290 pounds. So there you go. Sydney family. Aussie, Aussie.
Bang.
Oi, oi. Super chat menu, last call here. If you want us to stay alive, if we get to $300 in super chats, I'm going to pie Trace in the face. Whipped cream, plate, right in the mug. While he wears a cowboy hat. So we'll pie a Cowboy fan. You know what we are from 300? 280 away.
Elijah.
So if we get 280, we'll pie him in the face. Last call for super chats. 2-minute shot clock.
2 minutes remaining. 2 minutes.
11-7 now, Rangers, Phils.
This game's getting interesting.
Rangers up top, bottom 7. You just can't squander a 5-0 lead when Aaron Nola's on the hill. And you get 5 of those against Jacob deGrom. What a joke. It's the most multi-base hits that he's given up in his career in a start.
Is it really?
Yeah, and you're going to spoil that? What's your thoughts on taking Andre Carter in the second round? I reckon he could be a steal because he was in talks of being a first-rounder. Yeah, like I always like, thank you, Bros of Smacks. Glad you're feeling better. Yeah, I am for sure. I was still working out while I was sick, but my goodness, my chest was in pain. And those 10 push-ups, I can feel I'm getting closer to being healthy, but it didn't feel great. Cool Rains, Andre Carter. I'm always a fan of taking players who have that first-round upside. For Andre Carter, the size is like unbelievable. 6'7", 260 pounds. I'm not sure he's a first-round guy, though, like you said. It is cool that Army is giving him the clearance to play at the NFL level. His production, pretty stupid, too. 30-inch vertical jump at 6'7", 256 pounds is pretty nuts. Second in the FBS with a school record 15.5 sacks. A block kick as well. Season-ending back injury his senior year. It's got to be a little bit of a concern, too. He arrived at West Point weighing 225 pounds. Now he's up to nearly 260. Some people have him at 260. That's crazy. All right, 10 seconds left on our Super Chat shot clock. 10, a 9, an 8, a 7, a 6, a 5, a 4, a 3, a 2,
and a 1.
All right, we might dip out. That's fine, though. It was a great show today. Really appreciate everybody for joining us. It was awesome. By the way, the turtle humping the croc video, one of the best on YouTube. Nobody can tell me any different. So 3 segments in the can. We talk Kentavious Street, Henry Siegel, Dak over Hurts. Stop it. Stop it. Hurts already has more playoff wins now, right? Dak's won 1 playoff game?
How many Super Bowls has Dak been to?
How many Super Bowls?
Dak's not even the best quarterback on his team.
Hurts
Cooper
lost.
Rush is
At least he got there, Henry. Dak didn't. You know who led the league in interceptions last year? Dak Prescott. You know who didn't and finished runner-up in MVP? Jalen Hurts.
Henry said he's out of here. Everyone wave bye.
Bye, Henry.
Bye, Henry.
See ya, Henry. See ya, Henry.
Should we give him a how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? We'll see you, Henry.
Luffy goes, bye, Baldy.
Luffy Uchiha, 420. I love the 420 on the back end. All right, we're going to sign off. We talked mock draft. We talked trade rumors on Jeffery Simmons, as well as Kevin Byard. And we talked Kentavious Street. 3 segments in the can, an awesome live show in the books. Just keep in mind, I will be in Key West a week from Friday. So looking ahead in like 2 weeks, no live show then, unless the Eagles do something crazy. Then we'll go live. But in the meantime, videos every single day. Even when I'm gone, going to try to aim to give you videos every single day. Enjoy your Thursdays. Enjoy your opening day. Go Phils. Hopefully they come back against the Rangers. And thanks for watching Eagles Now Live.